All right. Well, welcome to the Indy.net Consortium. I'm Ari. I'm one of the organizers. We've got Tim here as well, also another organizer. Excited about tonight's presentation, but we'll get into that in a moment. We're brought to you by Theoris. Yay. Tim, you can talk about Theoris in a moment. 1150 Academy. 1150 is a coding boot camp, non-for-profit here in Indy. Pretty cool. I used to teach there. Ozcode, which is an extension for Visual Studio that does for debugging what resharpening code, and I don't mean making it slow. It's really awesome. If you haven't used Ozcode, it's a heck of an experience. And then Launch Fishers, which if we were meeting in person, that'd be great. They would let us use their theater, but we're not, so oh well. But still, thanks to them. They've been a long-time supporter, and I'm excited to have them still being a sponsor. So tonight, oh, that's right. Tim, you want to talk about Theoris real quick?
Hey, I'm not on mute. Yeah, Theoris is one of the better consulting companies here in town. I do IT consulting along with engineering. I'm always looking for good talent. If anybody's interested, shoot me an email and I'll hook you up with the right folks.
You can hear my dog in the background. She wants to be part of the fishbowl conversation. Not going to happen. No. All right.
Hey, she may force her way in.
I know she could. She could. Yeah, that's right. No, you're not. No. No. Nope. Nope. No fishbowl for you. Nope. I'm glad this is all being recorded. This is so cute. Hey, what? She didn't listen. So tonight we're going to talk. Hey, Ben. So tonight we're going to have a discussion and really about the lessons learned working virtually. And in a moment, I'll explain the rules for a fishbowl. But we've been, gosh, we've been working virtually, I imagine most of us, for a number of months now, and many of us still are. Some still, some can, in a limited fashion, go to the office. I'm curious, is anyone fully back at the office now, or is everyone, working virtually? Since we only have about 5 people on the call right now, is anyone working at the office now? If you're talking, you're muted probably. Anyway, for me, I go in and out of an office, really just to pick stuff up. All of our meetings have been virtual, so I'm curious. I know David, you're, where you are, it's not. I think you guys aren't back in the office yet. And Tim, I don't know if you are, or James, if you are.
No, I'm definitely not back in the office. It won't be anytime in the near future.
Yeah. Same here. And okay. I don't want to go back in the office for a while.
Does that have anything to do with the COVID though?
I kind of like remote, so.
And if we don't get more people, I think we might just kind of keep this up, and just kind of have more of a fireside chat than a fishbowl. I mean, if you got 10 people, it makes sense. If you got 5 people, a fishbowl is just kind of silly. It's like, leaving a kid out at gym class. Nerds. All right. Anyway, just so everyone knows, if we do end up doing a fishbowl, I should point out we are part of the .NET Foundation. If you haven't checked this out, the .NET Foundation has a virtual user group, which here it says 355 groups, but I'm sure it's a much higher number by now. And it basically ties together all the .NET meetups into a single user group. It's very cool. So if you sign up for them, you get access to all these .NET user groups around the globe And I've already signed up for a couple of them, so it's really neat. There's always something going on, but you wouldn't have known if this didn't exist. Especially if you're in Kansas City, for example, you wouldn't know what's going on in Indiana.
Yeah, that might be how I found you guys. So
yeah, so it's very cool. I'm really excited about what they've got going on. So here's the Fishbowl Rules, which we're not going to follow tonight. We're going to do the Fireside Chat rules, which is talk if you like, don't talk. Yeah, it's anarchy. If you're eating dinner, please keep your video off. But generally, with a fishbowl, only 2 people are talking, maybe 3. And there's usually a table, in this case, a virtual table set up. And when somebody else wants to talk, they have to take the place of one of the people that's a speaker. So that way, we keep the conversation controlled, and it's not bedlam. But it's very useful. I've found, I know I've been to like Indy SA, which David's a part of, and the fishbowl conversations when we had them were really cool. It was always interesting. A lot of good conversation, and the neat thing is generally people aren't speaking over one another. Probably even more important virtually. So anyway, these are the rules, but we're not going to follow them tonight because really there's no one. There's only 5 of us. But if we do this again in the future, then now we've got the rules. I have them on a slide, which makes this canon. All right. So without any further ado, let's go. So I'll start this off a little bit. So let's see. Gosh, it's November. It's November. My gosh. So 7 months ago, I was still working at Valorum. And I remember, now I've been a remote employee for a very long time. So when the COVID restrictions hit and Valorum effectively evacuated their office, and everyone went to work from home, I was already used to working from home. So it really wasn't a change other than, suddenly I can't go out to eat, I can't go out to drink, and now all my coworkers are suddenly on a level playing field in how we communicate. So I always found that I had a disadvantage sometimes as a remote employee because I couldn't be in person at the office. I couldn't walk up to someone's desk. I couldn't tap someone on their shoulder, etc. And there's a different relationship, I think, with people when they're near each other because we're social creatures. And how we solve problems, I think we'll go the social route first versus reaching out to SMEs that aren't physically present. So I found when we went remote, everything was equalized. And most people were not used to working remotely. So they suddenly had all the issues that I had to fix when I first started working remotely. For example, managing distractions. When you're at home, you could have kids, you got your wife or your husband, you've got your game systems are all around you. You've got errands that you could run. Your state of mind is, I'm at home. Therefore, I can do things that I do when I'm at home. Which, having worked for a really long time remotely, I had already broken myself of those habits. But when my coworkers started coming online, as it were, well, first we found people started running errands in the middle of the day. Like people would get up at like 10 and then, they would just randomly not be available during the day. And it's like, wait a sec, we're still working 9 to 5. That hasn't changed. And part of what I had to do was coach people at the company how to break themselves of those habits. And I'll go through just 15 more seconds on this. I wrote up a list of not rules, but list of things to know. Like, make sure that you close your door. Do not suddenly treat this as family time, newfound family time. You are working, you still have work to do. And, here's how you can manage those distractions, manage your interactions with your family, and still balance your work life, your work and personal life. Because now that work has followed you home, where do you draw that line? So you don't work all hours of the day. So that's my thoughts so far. I have others, I'm sure, but what do you have to share? What have you found, learned, etc.?
We've done a meeting at the end of the day that kind of helps break up gives you like the closing time of the day.
Oh.
Just kind of a social 15-minute meeting. Sometimes it lasts a while though.
True. Oh, I turned my video off. I meant to try killing my background. That's not going to do that. Have you found anything, David? I found that bourbon's really good.
Yeah, for me, I found I had an extra desk in my normal computer room.
Yeah.
What I noticed is that when I started doing my work in there, I didn't want to go in there if I wasn't working. So, I basically didn't use my personal computer for a long time. And downstairs here, I have the TV and other devices. So, keeping it like a separate physical space, I understand that's like a thing you're supposed to do. What I didn't fully realize is that entire room became like the work room.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of had a similar experience. I mean, I think it's important to set your workspace, but I was used to having a home office, and now it's a work office. So
yeah,
I did find it's nice to get out on move your workspace when it's the weather's nice out and get out on the back deck or something. Breaks things up a little bit, makes it a little more tolerable.
Yeah, it's weird because you couldn't go out, right? I mean, like the first couple months, I think a lot of people just didn't know what to do. And I think, just mentally, I think that had a heck of a challenge on a lot of people. I know a number of friends of mine had a really difficult time adjusting the first 60 days. Just like I can't see my coworkers. I also can't see my friends. And man, I'm tired of my kids. Or not. I mean, your whole routine is upended. And like I used to go to Starbucks every single day. I would go in the morning, I'd go to Starbucks, I'd catch up on all the work, like my personal work, and then I'd come home, and then I'd start like my real job. And I couldn't do that anymore. Like I had known breaks. Like 6:30 to 8 o'clock, I am at Starbucks. And 11 to noon, I am at lunch. And I even, I even had in my calendar as a remote employee, lunch scheduled out so that people wouldn't bother me at lunchtime. Because, having worked in Kansas City, my 11 o'clock was their 10 o'clock. So they always wanted to schedule a meeting at 10 o'clock. And so I would schedule it so there'd be a conflict. Because I'm used to getting lunch at 11 o'clock. Yeah. You could schedule any time later in the day, but I had to schedule my time. So, and speaking of which, that's actually become a really important thing I found. That keeping my calendar up to date has been insanely important. Like I was already pretty clear about keeping my calendar up to date, but with the pandemic, it's amazing what I found out. Like people would just schedule stuff and never look at my calendar during the pandemic. I think they always looked at, and they didn't respect the calendar as much prior either, but it got worse during the pandemic. Like people would just schedule something and never look. And be like, hey, my calendar's up to date. We all have to work within the confines of our available time during the day. If you keep your calendar up to date and I keep my calendar up to date, then we both know when we're available and we'll never choose a time slot that isn't available. And that for the most part worked, except I found some coworkers would just mark out their entire day as busy. I did. I found that like I could not schedule any time with them whatsoever. And I didn't know. And so I spent so much time trying to figure out a time to get together with them. And that was a new phenomenon. Like when COVID hit and we were at home, I found a lot of people's calendars just filled, not all of them, not a lot, but a not insignificant number of people's calendars filled up as just blanket. If you looked at their calendar, it would just show busy from 8 to 6 and not like broken up like busy, 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 busy. No, it was just busy, 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 busy. And that's just like what they had. Were you saying something, James?
Oh yeah, we do something where we call afternoon. Basically, no meetings in the afternoons usually, so we can focus on development at that time. And so we try and get all our meetings done in the morning. Sometimes it works.
Yeah. Well, I found that's a rule they have over at Klipsch. No meetings in the morning on Mondays, and no meetings in the afternoon on Fridays. It's a rule. So, I mean, I can schedule it, but no one has to go. Which I have to schedule that because I have app demos on Fridays. So, I mean, if you don't want to see it, I'll record it though. It's cool, But yeah, pretty fascinating. I found that VR was a really good, like, not a replacement for socializing, but it gave me something to do. Like I can't sit in front of a computer and just play games all day. I can't sit with a controller in my hand and do that. I never have. I can't do it. And I know some people that can play games for like 8 or 12 hours straight. I don't understand it. I don't they're wired to do that. But VR, I could actually move. I could do things. I could play racquetball if I wanted to. I could, go into like the Rick and Morty universe. And then I found that the chatting solution in Steam's chat, I just started meeting people from all over the world, both in Steam's chat and also in VR chat. And it was really neat because it was kind of like interacting with people in person. Yeah, they were dressed up as, a ninja or an inflatable doll. Who knows, right? It runs the gamut. But just from like a social interaction perspective, I think my first couple months were a lot of drinking socials. Like everyone got together virtually back when Zoom was free.
Yeah, that kind of went away, didn't it?
Yeah, I think I invited you all the time, Tim. Did I invite you? I know I had socials all the time. It was like every night, and I could throw a social out there like on like the bourbon groups, and people would join and you'd have interesting conversations. But that all stopped like 60 days in. And I just wonder if that's when the pandemic fatigue came in.
I know a lot of my friends, we used to, get together on like Facebook Messenger or something like that, and just to see people. But then a lot of them, they started going out and stuff, and it's like, I've stayed in and been safe, but
yeah.
But yeah, some of them gotten COVID because they went out to some bars and stuff.
Everywhere I go, I got the mask.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stay safe, I was reading about this. I'm curious. I don't want to get too far off topic, but hey, anything's game, right? It's a topic. I'm curious how many of you had. Speaking of socializing, how many people when you had your meetings used video versus who didn't? Like when you had your meetings with your coworkers, did most people, were they like this? Or
at my place, they kind of encouraged it. Our director kind of encouraged video just so people could see each other. It's not like enforced, but they encouraged it. So most people, especially at the beginning, most people did do video. It's kind of gone down a little bit since then, though. So
we were already fairly used to doing video chats, so that continued. We already had off-site team members, so
yeah, I think video for us is I can't think of anybody who doesn't turn on their video. So
interesting.
And back to the team or socializing thing, like so we do this thing like every Friday. We have like happy hour thing after
cool.
work. And like the first 2 times, like we had like 60 people show up. And then after that, like recently, it's like 3 or 4.
So you went from 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Wally's joining. Oh, at least I think I did. Hey, Wally. So we're actually just talking now because we only got 6 people joined. So we're just talking about how COVID and working virtually affected us. Just what we did. One thing I also found, like on the socializing side, I saw the same thing you saw, David, where the amount of coworker interaction kind of went down. I think people just got used to being isolated from their coworkers. But I haven't found the ability or the desire to collaborate going down. I haven't noticed that. Like I find people, have ideas. Although the interesting thing is I don't find people wanting to video chat often. Just, they type their messages, and, then we use, it's in our issue management system, is where the other conversations are in email. A lot of reading, a lot more screen reading, than calls, which I think is good, because, meetings could take a long time, but you could just write and send to someone, just like texting, right? Texting versus a phone call to get a decision made seems to work pretty well. But I'm curious what the metrics are around our efficiency compared to when we were in offices. Like when you had a conversation, interactive conversation with people, did you shoot the shit, as it were, and were you less efficient working in an office where, there's rent and electricity and all this other stuff that needs to be paid. Yeah.
I think our boss has told us that we've done a lot better productivity since we've gone remote. He's seen like a lot of improvement in everything we do just because we don't have the extra distractions. Also, I think our collaboration has gone up quite a bit too, because we're a lot easier to Slack people messages.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if we're in the office, we're like, oh, looks like he's busy. I don't want to interrupt what they're doing. So
Right.
Yeah, I think we've seen the opposite. So my company was very much not a work from home company. Like we enjoyed working together, like in close teams and stuff. So for us, like most of the teams have kind of gravitated to having like a video meeting, like this constantly open all day. Then if you have a question, you just turn on your mic and turn on your video and try to get someone's or ask a question or something.
Huh.
And for us, like on my team, we had the added challenge of we had 2 people join the team starting while we were working from home. A company that's like not a work from home company. So like for them especially, like they haven't seen what it's like working in the office, and they don't know like what the standard level of collaboration is, I guess. So we kind of have to trying to teach them like to be more proactive and like reaching out to folks, because like if they're all working from home, like you can't just turn around and see that they're like stuck on a problem or something. So like we have to be a lot more deliberate and
good word, deliberate. Yeah.
Reaching out to these folks and making sure that they're doing good.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder about onboarding a new person. Like a developer, I would think that you could hand them documentation and do pair coding with them very easily remotely.
Yeah, it's all the little things. Like you really have to, pairing is like a really important thing, because like they don't, like there's a lot of like smaller things you pick up on just from like working with someone else, like keyboard shortcuts and stuff like that. That if you're like working remotely, like it's harder to learn those things. Yeah, and then the hardest part is just ingraining them more into the culture, because I think our culture really suffered working from home. Like we have the teams are pretty good in staying in communication within the project team. Like between the project teams, there's very little communication. So people aren't like different subgroups, whatever. And I don't know that we've solved the issue yet of like how to involve how to have more like cross team pollination.
Karen, my mom, was saying it took time for the people in their online support group once a month to converse on topics. I can see that, like people just simply not knowing how to converse without being around other people. And that can be hard, like not seeing people's. There's one reason that I really like video being on is you can't see other people's sweatpants. Oh, I mean, you can't see other people's facial expressions. You can't tell if they're being serious, etc. But I also understand, hey, you're at home. Maybe you don't want people to see you, or your family coming in or whatever, or, that maybe you are shirtless. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been fascinating. But I haven't found people to be harder to reach. At least, well, let me think about that.
Some people.
I think some people were harder to reach with the pandemic. Like, I found a lot of people I would schedule meetings with. And this could have been a company thing because, this hasn't happened with my former or with my current employer. But I would schedule meetings with some people and just like, they'd accept it or they'd ignore it. And the worst was when they ignored it, like, just decline it. Or they'd accept it and then just not show up. That was a common thing. I did see that. Yeah. I was like, I don't get it. Maybe they're just used to people coming up to them and talking, not living by the calendar. I found younger people had that issue, not living by the calendar. Although I don't think I'm old, but I'm older than them. Yeah. So has anyone found it difficult to balance your work and family life working virtually, and how have you addressed that?
I'm by myself, so I don't have that problem. but I do a lot of meetups, so that kind of, I feel like, at least might as well be a little productive with my time. But yep.
More what with your time? I didn't understand that.
Oh, go to more meetups.
Okay.
And like different online conferences and stuff like that. So just so I feel like, I'm not totally wasting my time.
Right. Okay. Tim, were you able to balance work life with family?
Yeah, it really hasn't been a problem for me. My kids are old enough that they're fairly self-sufficient, so it's pretty standard. Other than the commute's a couple flights of stairs rather than 15-minute drive.
True.
The biggest challenges I've had is just stepping away when it's time to step away. But
yeah, I was fascinated to find that there are people just working till like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most unhealthy things that you can do, as a human being, is never stop working. It's so, and I'm just wondering if those are the people that just burn out, just like from a mental aspect of it.
Yeah, there are times I'll get on like later at night, just if I feel like a little bit pressure on getting something done, I'll get on like later at night when I've nothing's on TV and I don't and then I'll put in a couple extra hours, but I do find I need that like break at like 5 o'clock or something to kind of relax a bit.
It's definitely a good way to get things done without interruptions, isn't it?
Well, it depends if you live with anybody.
Well, I just meant from coworkers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Do you find that you've been more or less productive with the pandemic, or working from home?
Probably more productive, except for now it's like now I'm kind of, our team lead moved up and I'm team lead now, so a little bit less productive with all the interruptions. But that's not from working from home, that's just from more questions from everybody. Right. So
yeah, I don't think that's changed a lot. I think pretty much the same.
Sorry for I found a dessert sitting right next to me. See, this is the problem with working from home. It's I have desserts.
Yeah, my personal productivity is probably roughly the same, but it's just so much harder to get a grasp of what other people are working on. You have to spend more time reaching out to folks like, oh, so like what task you're working on? Like how long has it been going on or whatever? So
Yeah, that's rough. It's hard to stay on top of. There's so many things that you can do now at home.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we do a fairly good job of keeping track of who's working on what by, just our normal daily stand up. So we all jump on a Zoom and go through everything.
Stand up to be very useful.
Yeah. Although there are those folks that just really can't handle working from home. So
yeah. I found people, where their kids would come in all the time. And I'm like, hey, close your door. Like that's got to be the rule, And that's something that I think
your mom says that's so true, Ari.
Yeah. Well, I said in the beginning, I already am used to working from home. And I live alone, right? I got a dog and a cat, so I don't get a lot of distractions other than like phone calls. But I would often in the beginning find people that they're just out doing something in the middle of the day, or they're just not available for like 3 hours. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I think they think that they're going to catch up on things at night. And you're also, I'm curious how many people that weren't good performers, but at the office you have everybody's eyes on you, became bad performers at home because there's no pressure to get work done. Right? No one sees what you're doing. So you could say something takes a long time to do when it doesn't. And I did notice that a couple times. But for the most part, I found productivity seemed to go up. And our ability to communicate effectively actually went up. But then again, I was no longer at a disadvantage as a remote employee because everybody was now a remote employee.
Yeah, we have a calendar.
Everyone's a superhero. No one is.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a calendar that if you're going to be gone for a while, that we're supposed to, like when I went out to vote in the middle of the afternoon, took a late lunch to do that. I put that on the calendar so people know I would be gone for that. And I ended up not being very long because there was no wait, but that way at least people know, it's scheduled. It's kind of like the same thing that, in the office we would do if we needed to run an errand in the middle of the day or something like that, doctor's appointments, stuff like that. We would put that on the calendar so that people knew we were going to be away.
Yeah. And that's what I did. Like, I was saying, I keep my calendar up to date. So if somebody's coming, I would put, let's say the pest control is coming by or the air conditioning people or whatever. I just blocked it out in my calendar.
Oh, we do that, but we also have a shared calendar that's like
gotcha.
our vacation calendar. So you put it on there if you're taking vacation or if you're going to be away.
Yeah. We had that, but I don't think people were good about updating it. It's just, it's one more thing I need to update and nobody was looking at it. I mean, I was guilty of that. I ended up just blocking out my calendar and then in our stand-up, my status update on the stand-up, I'd write it out. I'd go, I am going to be gone these days, just so everyone knows. And if you have an issue with that, please let me know. Yeah. Interesting.
Have you guys taken much time off during the pandemic? I haven't taken a day off yet.
Wow.
I did. Yeah, I would take like a Friday off or a Wednesday off just randomly.
Yeah.
Right now I'm a contractor, so I don't do that. But that may change. Um, but yeah, I made sure that I took time off. Even if I'm at home, my need to recuperate, recover, take a day didn't change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the time I had unlimited PTO.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which can be a blessing and a curse. A friend of mine warned me about unlimited PTO when I was offered the Valorum opportunity. He said, "Look, there's a lot of people who don't use their PTO when they have unlimited PTO for whatever reason. They're like, well, what if people think that I'm taking too much time off, or whatever."
Yeah.
And so I made it a point to use my PTO. I mean, I already didn't shy away from PTO. I mean, if you give me unlimited PTO, well, as long as I'm reasonable and you approve it, I'm not going to feel bad about taking that time off. If I have a job insecurity issue by taking time off, well, then you shouldn't have approved my time. And we need to talk because now I may have a job security issue. If that's an issue, it never was. So, I'm always curious about people that are afraid of taking time off, thinking that it'll affect their bonus, their performance reviews, etc. At least that seems to be the fear, or that they'll be considered less productive or not a team player. I'm guessing at this because I've never really had an issue with it.
Yeah. For me lately, it's just been what's the use? Working from home. It's and then it's like just wait for the holiday for some time off. But
I hear you. I think the reason is you know what? I want to take a long lunch today. And I just kind of want to go do my own thing. I don't want to work today. I've been, maybe I was on a project where I worked 50 hours the week before and, 45 hours, this week. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I want to get a day back. I lost, let's say I did 45 hours this, let's say I did 48 this week and 48 last week. That's 2 days of time that, if I was salary, I technically wasn't paid for it. Right? I mean, it's the law of diminishing returns. You're paid for 40-ish hours a week. Well, shouldn't you get some of that time back? Like, I couldn't run some errands because I worked more time to keep a project ahead. Well, I should get that time back. And I think that's one reason you have unlimited PTO. Vacation doesn't just mean go to Cancun. It's it's really it's paid time off. And you should. I feel that it's very healthy to take advantage of that, even in a pandemic. You still are working 40 plus hours a week, if not more, because you're never away. Like I'm always at home, so I often work and eat my lunch. Just because I can't go out. Like I'll go down the road. Like I went to a Mexican place. To get some food on Monday because they got dollar tacos and there was no social distancing. And I'm like, I am not going to eat here. I mean, I got my food. I mean, they have good food, but there was no social distancing. There was a guy in front of me that wasn't wearing a mask, talking with the other guy behind the plexiglass that was wearing a mask. And I'm just like 6 feet away. I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am not going to stay here. I need to leave. Yeah, and got my food and left. Ate it at home. Worked while I ate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sort of related to that. I found that on a personal note. So like working from home, there's like I always see walking around here, like I just like physically walk less during the day. So so I made sure that after lunch I always take a walk now for like 20 minutes or so. So actually like get outside, you see some sunlight and stuff. You see something that's not this, which is also nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some sort of physical activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've changed is now what I do in the morning is I've put it in my calendar that for 30 minutes every morning I go to the gym and work out, and then I come home and then I can start working. I mean, I'll do some work just because people message me from other countries, so it's more convenient to reach out to them, earlier than later. But getting that 30 minutes in has really been awesome. I still have the gut, but whatever. Life goes on. That's the bourbon. That's the that's the pandemic bulge. The pandemic 15.
I haven't really, I had a couple of happy hours where I drank a couple beers at the beginning, but I haven't drank since like March, I think.
Wow.
I just usually only drink when I socialize and go out places, so it's kind of like that's another thing where it's like, well, what's the use, So.
Yeah. I hear you. It's that's where like the virtual socials worked out. Is if I wanted to see some friends, but there's a lot of friends who don't video chat. They don't want to. They're like, nope. I do that during the day at work. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we tried it with people at work and then my friends and stuff, but it never really caught on. So
yeah,
just not the same as like actually going out to like a bar with people and hanging out. But yeah.
Oh, I hear you. I did end up going out, but once we hit the third wave, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm chilling. Yeah, I mean, I got my flu shot, but I don't have a COVID shot because that don't exist.
Right.
So when that exists, sky's the limit, man.
Depends on how effective it is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess literally with COVID, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
So, see what I did there? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If the shot doesn't work. Anyway, all right. It's not funny. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that was interesting. Does anyone else have any topics or points about working remotely?
Upgraded my tech and my I just have I'm working on my spare bedroom and got some new monitors, got a new chair.
Yeah.
So now I'm better set up than I was at work.
I actually went through a chair. Yeah, I was like, what the heck? Did I really just go through a chair?
Yeah. They're probably not industrial like the ones at work. So.
You know that those are rated? There's a known rating system for chairs that say how long you can sit on this comfortably during the day. Like 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours. It's something like that. I remember reading about it. I'm like, what?
I had to get a butt cushion. So
Yeah, I got like a back brace thing.
yeah.
Then I stopped using it because it was getting annoying. And then I couldn't find a chair that was as comfortable as what I had. And none of the stores were open to really replace them.
Yeah.
I found out Amazon has a lot more options than any store nearby.
And I think gamer
They're
chairs
so
are
convenient.
yeah.
Huh?
I think gamer chairs are made for long-term sitting too. So I've heard look at gamer chairs more than regular office chairs. So
Yeah, but I didn't want all the speakers that were built in. Like when I
no,
saw it, like the chairs I thought would be comfortable were like really big, and I didn't want those. I didn't want something that hugged me. I want a chair that doesn't have arms. I like getting in and out of my chair. And so anytime I've had a chair with arms, I always get stuck on the arms. Like I'm getting up and it's like, oh, you know? And I'm like, wait, what is going on? And then if you remove the arms, it just looks stupid.
Yeah. I did find a chair that has like the arms you can put up. So that works for me. But I understand what you mean about the arms though. I don't like the arms.
I'm gonna look at gamer chairs they have on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this topic, like I found that some of my coworkers, I guess, weren't maybe they like didn't want to think about how long we'd be working from home or something. So some of them were not taking their personal comfort very seriously. So like one guy was working on a folding metal chair, like in his kitchen table or whatever. Which, like, I don't know how you do that for multiple months on end. But like most of us have taken our real chairs from the office home.
Well, he also spoke fluent Klingon.
It was actually a folding metal chair with some towels under it to like raise it up higher. It was just really horrible looking sounding setup.
At least get a pillow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I think some of their RPMs have talked about they still just use their laptop monitor in not like a real monitor. I don't know how that just seems weird to me too. So
yeah,
I couldn't do it all day, not every day. But then again, I've got a Surface Pro 7, so that's only like 12.1. 12.1 inches. What is a Surface? 12.1, something like that. Yeah. It's fine. It is one of my main monitors because I've got the Surface dock, but then to the side I've got 1080p here and a 2060 whatever. What is it? 1080 1920, so 2840, right? Or 3840 because it's double width, by 1080. And so I keep all my browser tabs there. Then anything I'm working on right in front of me, it works fine. I mean, that's 12. Although I did get computer, the light blocking glasses.
I got a 27-inch 4K and now a 32-inch 4K. So so I'm set up pretty well for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as long as your computer can drive it, right? I mean, like my Surface is no problem driving those monitors, but depending on what computer you got, maybe not. But if you're doing project management work, maybe it's different. Maybe the
I'm not. Oh yeah, for them, yeah.
Not you, right?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. I mean, as a developer, I mean, I can make almost anything work as long as I can see the code. I'll collapse the windows to make space for it. Yeah, but yeah, I did learn about HDPI displays and non-HDPI displays being a pain in the ass. So yeah, on my Surface, it's actually worked out really well, but on like back when I was at Valorum, I had this ThinkPad. And when I would change displays, the DPI would change and Teams would go berserk. But for some reason on my Surface, I don't have that problem. And I know that I'm going from an HDPI display to a non-high DPI display, high density display.
Yeah.
But
I think they did an update for Windows that helped that. So maybe because I remember
maybe that's it.
Yeah, because I remember
maybe I left at just the right time.
Yeah. one of my laptops, when I did that, like hooked up to monitors, it was kind of funky, but then I think they did something with a Windows 10 or something like that. So but
yeah, I don't know. Well, that's all I've got. I'm sure there's other things to talk about, but we've used about our hour. So does anyone have any other items they'd want to talk about?
I'm good.
No, okay. Tim, we should do a social.
Yeah, we'll have to do that one of these days.
Yeah, we do. Cool. All right, I'm going to stop recording then. Boop, boop, boop.